But who better than me?
Welcome back to another Base Talks. And on this one, I was joined by light heavyweight prospect slash contender Conor Wallace, based out of Australia, from Northern Ireland. Very interesting story, very deep amateur pedigree. Had about 175 amateur fights. So yeah, he's definitely on his way. He's top 15 ranked in all four of the sanctioning bodies, top 10 in the WBA. So yeah, have a look. We had a nice little interview talking about his fight that's taking place on the 20th of December over in Brisbane, Australia. It's going to be live on DAZN, so you can tune in there. Don't forget, just before we get to that, like, subscribe and share with the channel, leave your comments, and obviously, again, share with friends, families, associates, work colleagues, enemies, any and all in between. It's all appreciated. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Have a look. We'll catch you on the other side. This is Base the Kid, the hardcore casual, and I am delighted to be joined by light heavyweight contender 11-1 Conor Wallace. Conor, how are you, man? How's your day been?
Yeah, good. Have a last sort of hard sparring today. Before the fight, I fight next Wednesday night here in Brisbane. So maybe just a bit of a light move around on Wednesday or Thursday, and then that'll be me. The hard work's done now, so just looking forward to tapering off and getting ready to let the hands go.
Good. So listen, just before we even get into the fight, we're going to speak a lot about that. But talk to me. You're a Brit living in Australia and boxing in Australia. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, Irish, bit of both.
Well,
I'm from
Northern
Northern
Ireland.
Ireland.
That's a Brit.
Yeah, I'm right on the border between the north and the south of Ireland, but I've boxed for Northern Ireland and Ireland and stuff as well. It doesn't really make a difference to me, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm over here in Australia now about 5.5 years, and I'm at Fortitude Boxing with Steve Deller. He's my manager, and Greg Eady is my coach. And I'm signed with Tasman Fighters, Mick Francis and Fran, here in Brisbane. So yeah, I'm loving it. It's been good so far, and the only way is up.
Good stuff. So how does the boxing scene over there in Australia for you look in terms of how it was, I guess, when you was in Northern Ireland? Is it much different? Is it easier, harder to sort of get fights? Like how's the dynamic?
Yeah, well, I think I got a lot of pro fights in quick succession in my first sort of year, and then COVID came along and slowed up everything for everyone. But nah, it's good. I've been loving it. I've got a great team around me with Steve Deller, my manager. He got me a lot of fights. I think I had 7 fights in my first year, and with the main thing was to get busy and get active. And I had a lot of amateur fights. I had like 175 amateur fights, so I knew it was going to take me a while to get into to develop that more of a pro style. So we had a lot of fights early, and then COVID came along, and then I had a couple of injuries and stuff. Or I broke my hands and stuff, but here we are. I had a couple of big wins and stuff, which got me into the top 15 the world rankings. So I'm being moved along nicely. I know I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but we're moving in the right direction.
Well, I know you've got a top 10 in the WBA, and I know you're top 15 in all the other sanctioning bodies. So I'm sure a crack at those titles, or at least in eliminators, will be on the way. Just before we kind of even get into what's going to be taking place on Wednesday. So obviously looking through the record, I didn't know a huge amount of you from the pro side of things. But I have managed to see a couple bits of footage over the last couple of days. Now, I remember you did have a fight with Lati. I think it was like your first fight back after COVID happened, and
Yeah.
you suffered a career defeat in that majority decision. Could you just talk to me a bit about sort of what happened there?
Yeah, so that was my first fight back after. Obviously, it was COVID. I broke my hand during COVID sparring. I broke my left hand, so that was my first fight back. It was probably I probably could have done with a bit of a warm up fight to get me back in after the long layoff, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. It's boxing, and suppose it gets that one loss out of the way. You're not this undefeated amateur prospect who is hard to match, So Nah, it was good. It was a great fight. It could have went either way, I believe. But I wasn't happy with my performance. Looking back now, you can see I wasn't really throwing my left hand. I was very gun shy. So we went back to the drawing board. It was a good learning fight for me, and I'd worked hard with my team, and we come back. We had a win then after that, and then I fought Faris Chevalier for the regional belts, which got me the world ranking. Um, Took a good risk in that fight. Like a lot of people written me off, give me no chance, but there are the chances you had to take myself, and my team believed that I would beat him. It was on the Jai Obataya and Bradis world title undercard. So it was a massive platform, and there are the chances I believe you have to take, And from there, I had a great win, and then after that, that has still had that one loss on my record that I wanted to right, you know what I mean, to correct that wrong. So, um, Letty was one of the names that was offered to me after the fight, and I was like, yeah, 100%, So he was only after taking the Australian title off me. When we lost, but I went and fought for the regional belts then, which is a different belt. So I probably had it all to lose, putting the belts on the line again, and he had nothing, But I just wanted to. That's just the type of person that I am, and the way that I think. I just really wanted to right them wrongs,
Well, it was a
So
conclusive victory in the rematch. So
yeah, and I actually broke my right hand in the rematch with him. You wouldn't believe that. So I broke my other hand in the second round and ended up knocking him out in the sixth. It got fight of the year and stuff. The second fight was like a war, but it only was a war because I had no job. So
fair enough. Well, look, I mean, so we've come through all of that. Obviously, you've come through adversity pretty early in your career. So, do you feel like all of that basically puts you in good stead for your fight this coming Wednesday against Moses Umatagi?
yeah, definitely. As I say, I believe adversity makes you a better person in and outside of the ring. And overcoming that, and this is like the last fight was the first fight camp that I had where I had no pain at all in either of my hands. And I think going from the performance, you seen that I was firing all cylinders and knocked the guy out in the first round, which was supposed to be a 50-50 fight, So I believe I'm getting better and better with every fight and developing more into the weight, really getting that man strength and really peaking now, I'm 27 years old and I think they've yet to see the best of me. So I'm looking forward to next Wednesday night and live on the zone again. I'm very grateful to be headlining on the zone again and thankful to Tasman Fighters and the zone for putting it on. It's a massive opportunity and it's great for everyone to be able to watch it back home as well.
Brilliant. Now, with regards to that, so what can you tell me about Moses? Do you know much about him? What's he going to pose? What challenges are you going to have to kind of overcome?
Yeah, well, I think he's a come forward aggressive fighter, which always brings a good fight. He's got a good record. Um, he's a lot of knockouts as well. So obviously he's a puncher, which always adds that extra bit of danger. You got to be switched on. But I believe if I box the way I can box and I'm switched on, and I believe I beat him pretty convincingly, But um, he's always dangerous, as I say, as he comes forward. He's fought the likes of he went to distance with David Light and stuff before, so he's a seasoned sort of guy, and he's experienced. He's tough. He's hungry. This is probably his world title fight for him. Like where does he go from here if he loses to me? So it's great he'll be coming to fight. The Samoans are always tough. It's like New Zealand Samoan, so. Um, no, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it, and it's a great venue that the fights are at. I bring a good support myself, and it'll definitely be on. So,
Good, good. Now you're quite a tall light heavyweight as well, like 6'3.5", I've read. Is that correct?
yeah. I'm 6'3". Yeah, so pretty
How,
tall for the weight.
I was about to say, how is it making the weight? Do you struggle? Is it like, are you like a really big light heavyweight, or do you kind of more sit in the middle, a bit more comfortable?
Yeah, well, I would class myself as there doesn't be too many people bigger than me for the weight, like taller. I mean, but yeah, I feel like over the past sort of 4 years, 5 years, I've really developed. I've always been light heavyweight as a pro, but like with my strength and conditioning, the dietitians and stuff that I've been using now, I've definitely matured a lot into the weight, and as I say, I got that man strength, and I'm a lot more developed now than I was whenever I made my pro debut. Like my body shape looks completely different. But as always, yeah, with your strength and conditioning coach, we're always raising the bar and trying to get fitter and faster and stronger every single camp, and we're starting the camp at a higher base level of fitness.
Good, good. So look, with regards to this now, so you're ranked in all the sanctioning bodies. So this fight, while it may not obviously be a sanctioning or a eliminator of sorts, but it will still be one that can possibly get you higher up into the rankings. The higher up you go, obviously the opportunities come, but then that's where a lot of people then start to feel like things such as drug testing are more necessary, especially when you get to
Mhm.
sort of those levels. So is that something that you are a champion of? Are you enrolled in any of the clean boxing programs or VADA programs, and are you pushing for that?
Yeah, well, I think after the after the last fight and stuff, there my manager and stuff, we filled out all the forms, and I think it's the W, because the last fight was the first fight that I had the WBC belt on the line. It was the WBC Australasian belt, so I think as part of that, we like opted into the, you have to be in that pool, I think, or whatever it is. We filled out all the forms, and the doctor signed them, and so yeah, it's definitely something that we've no problems. Like that's not an issue at all.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. Well, look, so we've spoken about your opponent, and obviously we've spoken a little bit about you. So two last things, because I appreciate it's kind of late over there. Um, First things first, when this fight's over, what are you kind of looking for? Have you got any plans lined up for the future? Not looking past this guy, I don't want to sort of disrespect him, but just have
No,
you got
definitely not.
any other timelines set up or anything that's like in the pipeline, maybe to get to those eliminators for those championships?
Yeah, well, so obviously get through this, all being well, December 20. Definitely not looking through my opponent, but we have another date for St. Patrick's Day here in Brisbane, which will be a massive event. The St. Patrick's Day parade and stuff, and at the Fortitude Music Hall in the Fortitude Valley here, they close off the mall and everything. So I think they're going to be giving me the chance to headline again on St. Patrick's Day, which is a massive thing. They're fighting Irish and all that stuff, and the crowds have been amazing at the fights recently, and it's just been getting bigger and bigger every time. So yes, we would possibly be looking at an international opponent then, higher in the rankings and stuff. And I've been around the game a long time. I'm not one of these dreamers who think I'm going to beat Bivol in my next fight or any of this. I I know myself. I need another couple of good stiff tests before I fight the top boys. And I'm honest and open, I can just say that. And my managers, my Mick Francis as well. We're all on the one page. You know what I mean? We know I need another 3 or 4 fights. And it's going to be a big 2024 for me, all being well. And the main thing is for me to keep winning, gaining that experience, getting the rounds under my belt, and getting better and better with each fight. And with that, then the big fights will follow. But as I say, every fight from here on in for me is a world title fight, because if you lose, you slip down the rankings. So it's very important that we're winning and staying healthy and fit, and no injuries, of course.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, so with regards to that, I mean, if you look at obviously coming from sort of the UK and Ireland, you would know that there's a very stacked division over here when it comes to light
Hmm.
heavyweights as well. So are any of those potential light heavyweights on your radar for future bouts, or are you just totally focused on whatever's happening in Australia at the moment?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm definitely would be open to fighting international opponents, because I believe that's the sort of experience that I need as well before you fight the top boys. A lot of the boys from the UK are in the top sort of five. You know what I mean? You've got Boatsi, Aziz, and it's all boys that I've been looking at and watching, and I believe I'm not too far away from fighting them boys. So. Um, Maybe some of the guys that they've fought and lost to, or that they have fought and beat, maybe would be potentially um, good opponents. Boys that have been in with the top boys and stuff. Maybe like the likes of Lyndon Arthur and like the likes of them boys. They're all boys that I could be looking at. And I'm not a million miles away from fighting. So the main thing is, as you say, to get a good win on the 20th and not overlooking this opponent. and then from there we race Ace and maybe hopefully a big fight then on St Patrick's Day with maybe some of the likes of them guys from the UK, which will be huge, which will be massive. And with the zone and that getting behind me and giving me the opportunity to headline, it's a massive platform, and it's what gets me up out of bed in the mornings, you know.
Speaking of Boatsi and Aziz, so that fight's obviously being rescheduled for February the 3rd. Have you
Yeah.
got an opinion on who you think's going to win that one?
Personally, I believe Boatsi. From what I've seen, I think it will be a cracking fight. But Boatsi's amateur pedigree and everything. I think he is a bit of a better boxer, but I could be wrong. You know, styles make fights, and it's all a matter of who turns up on the day. But I definitely would probably be tipping Boatsi. I reckon I really like the way he goes about his style and stuff, and he's a great boxer. So, what about yourself? Who would you be tipping?
Oh, well, I'm not allowed to say just yet, not until the fight actually comes up. I do have a predictions video that will come out at that time, but yeah, I have to keep it silent for now. But I'll tell you off camera. Okay, but listen, Connor, it's been brilliant to speak to you. I just want you to let the people know why they should tune in and watch you live on the zone this coming Wednesday, or Wednesday after, on the 20th of December.
Yeah, tune in on the zone, December 20. You'll definitely be guaranteed fireworks. You'll see a mad Irish crowd there. And it'll be hopefully the start of something great here in Australia. The last one was just a taster for what you're going to get on December 20.
Brilliant. Listen, Connor, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. And yeah, best of luck on the 20th. I will be watching, and yeah, all the best. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers for having me on.
Take care. So, as you can see, Connor's a real personable guy. He's just happy to be doing what he's doing. He's happy to be in the ring. Clearly loves boxing. As I said, very deep amateur background. And he's got his eye on the UK guys. He wants to face some of the old opponents of both, like Joshua Boatsi, Dan Aziz. He's looking at Lyndon Arthur, saying that would be a good fight for him in the future. So tune in on the zone on the 20th. It's a Wednesday, so for us it'll be Wednesday morning. We're looking at about any time between sort of 9 a.m. up to maybe 11 a.m. That's pretty good times if you're not obviously at work, and if you are, obviously the zone is an app, you can just go back at any point. But yeah, keep an eye on him. I've seen a little bit of his work. He's transitioning from his amateur style quite well, and as you can see, he's got punch power. He's out of his 12 fights, 8 KOs. That's a pretty respectable ratio. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys do as well. But again, as always, like, subscribe, share. Thank you very much for your time. That's another Base Talks down. Let's see what we get for the next one. But for right now, catch you on the next one. Peace.